Foster care, by definition, is a situation in which for a period of time a child lives with and is cared for people who are not the child's parents. Foster care can either be informal or arranged through courts or a social service agency. The goal for a child in foster care is typically reunification with the birth family, but could be changed to adoption when this is seen as the child's best interest. While foster care is temporary, adoption is permanent. The process for applying for a foster license and to become a foster parent is generally a long and strict process. To gain more information about this process, we spoke to Caitlin Garland, a Wake County resident who is near completing the process for becoming a foster parent. So what was the process like of getting your foster license?
So I went through an actual agency, Methodist Home for Children, versus going through Wake County. And they have a requirement that you have to sit through it's like a 30-hour CE class essentially, but it went on for 10 weeks. Every Tuesdays and Thursdays you're there for about 4 hours. And they go over everything from getting placements and behavioral issues and drug issues and all, anything you could possibly imagine.
Yeah.
And then certified CPR with that same class, and then there's another certification of nonviolent crisis intervention, and that's both of those happened on a Saturday.
Okay. How strict is the process?
It is really strict. I believe, from what I understand, the majority of everybody that was in my class were about 30 people, most of them couples. I was one of the very few that's single. But from what I understand, all of them passed, but there were 2 couples towards the beginning that didn't pass their home inspection, which I guess somebody should have mentioned before. They come to your house and you have to fire inspection by a fire marshal, and then they come in and look at everything. And the issue with them is their neighbors had a pond, and there wasn't anything around it. So the thought process is if a child were to walk away and fall into the pond, they could drown.
Yeah.
And so they were not allowed to get their license because of that. I'm trying to think what else. They do fingerprinting, background checks. You have to have a physical, which I haven't had to have since high school. But so a doctor has to sign off on your mental competency and your health, and then references alcohol you. It's crazy.
Why did you want to get your foster license?
So I don't want to say recently, but I was in, I guess 2016. I got divorced, and I've always wanted to be a mom. Always wanted to have kids, and I turned 29 this year. Not that that means anything, but I'm to the point now where I'm tired of waiting on a guy to make that, the couple to then have kids. And I've always been interested in foster networking and adoption, and so I'm actually technically foster to adopt. So the goal is always reunification when you have when you have a child in your home, but sometimes that can't happen, and then they ask the foster parents, do you want to adopt this child or not? And so that's my plan. But to get back around to your question, mainly I was tired of waiting on the circumstances to align, and I thought it's probably going to take me several years before a placement actually stays and gets adopted, and so in the meantime I can do some good and do that. And actually I'm doing sibling pair as opposed to a single child, so there's a higher need for that.
Is there anything else that you would like us to know about foster care?
Highly recommend going through an agency, because I've kind of built myself a little network of people, and there are several that are just doing it through Wake County, and they have zero support. Whereas the agency, I already have 2 people that are assigned to me just for my licensing, and then I get somebody else that's just for helping me get placements. And then they have 24-hour numbers that you can call if you have questions. You can text anybody any time of the day. You get a legal representative, a social worker, your 2 licensing specialists, and a foster care specialist, and then you just have a team and a network of people. Whereas kind of what I've heard as far as county goes, they drop a kid off at your door and then you're done. And it's fighting tooth and nail to really get somebody to help you out.
Kids placed in the foster care system gain many different experiences, some being positive while others can be negative. According to the National Conference of State Legislators, up to 80% of children in the foster care system have a significant mental health issue, compared to approximately 18 to 22% of the general population. Factors contributing to mental and behavioral health of children and adolescents in the foster care system includes the history of complex trauma, frequently changing situations, broken family relationships, and inconsistent access to mental health services. To gain further knowledge on these services and nonprofit organizations that help with this issue, we spoke directly to a family consultant in the Raleigh, North Carolina office of Kids Peace. According to kidspeace.org, Kids Peace is a nonprofit organization that provides a unique psychiatric hospital, a comprehensive range of residential treatment programs, accredited educational services, and a variety of foster care and community-based treatment programs to help people in need to overcome challenges and transform their lives. Kids Peace provides emotional and physical health care and educational services in an atmosphere of teamwork, compassion, and creativity. What does Kids Peace, this nonprofit, do for the foster care system?
Well, we provide foster care. For Kids Peace Foster Care North Carolina, that's our main service. There are other Kids Peace has 32 offices throughout North America. So, and there's varying levels of services depending on what the state's needs are and stuff like that. Our Pennsylvania office there's a psychiatric hospital. There's a program for autism. They do a lot more adoptions. They're set up to do adoptions, so that's a much broader program. Our program here, we're very small, so we can provide an extensive level of high-end needs to promote success in treatment. Because children's mental health services, the earlier you receive services, the best you have the best opportunity for more positive outcomes.
Okay. Can you explain your role here at this organization?
I'm what you call a family consultant. And basically, family consultant oversees the child's case, but we also supervise the foster parents that the child resides in. So I have, say, Child A. Child A goes into John Smith's home. John Smith, the foster parents, or the Smith family is on my caseload. I provide direct supervision to that family to work with them to provide the interventions to the child to reduce and eliminate the behaviors or reduce to the best of our abilities the mental health issues that the child is presenting with. But I also do a lot of case collaboration with outside providers. I maintain the foster parent or the foster child's chart, and I also try and help the licensing person to maintain that the foster home maintains good standing in a licensure. A lot more than.
Children may face conflicts during their time in the foster care system, whether this be in their home with treatment or placement issues. Guardian ad litem's, or GAL for short, by definition, is a person the court appoints to investigate what solutions would be in the best interest of a child. We emailed Lane and Athena Tracy, who are both GALs, to better our understanding on what happens when a child needs court assistance. Questions asked included how long that they have been a part of the foster care system, their role in the system, experiences, feelings, relationships formed, and how many children they typically work with at a single time. Mr. and Mrs. Tracy wrote that they have been a guardian ad litem, or GAL for short, in the foster care system for over 20 years. The first 6 years I was living in Athens, Ohio, and for some of those years, Athena was the local director of the program. My role as a guardian ad litem for one or more children who have been removed from their family home and placed in the foster care system. I visit the children at least once a month and represent their interests in court by reporting on the care they are receiving and what other help they may need. Most of my experiences have been positive. The children have received the care they need. In some cases, they have been able to return safely to the care of their parents. In other cases, they have graduated from the system at age 18 and taken charge of their own future, sometimes including college. The system is not perfect, but is certainly better than leaving children in homes when they have been mistreated or abandoned. Some parents have their own problems and are simply not able to give their children the care that they need. The GAL program is one way to provide that care. As a GAL, my relationship with the foster children is initially an investigator of treatment that the child has received at home. If I find that they have been mistreated or abandoned, I report the facts to the local GAL office when then investigates further and may decide to remove the child from the home and place them in foster care. Then I become a regular visitor at the foster home, asking about the care the child is receiving and about other help that they might need, such as medical care or help with education. I often communicate or meet with a social worker and other people such as school teachers who are in charge of the case or providing assistance. When a court hearing is scheduled, I write a report on the case and make recommendations. The report goes to the judge who will preside at the hearing. I then attend the hearing and may be asked to expand or clarify my report. So my relationships are not limited to just the children. As a guardian, I may have only one child, but have had as many as 4 at a time. Usually I work only one case at a time, but sometimes have had 2 cases. A case may resolve in less than a year, but can last much longer. The relationship with a child continues until the case is resolved in court or the child becomes 18 years old.
Children in the foster care system are oftentimes forced to move from home to home, continuously to the point where most end up living in around 4 or more homes throughout their childhood. The constant switch of homes means they have to leave whatever friends and family they made while there, which ultimately leads to a lack of strong relationships and a source of belonging. Foster care children often go through the stressful and scary phase of being the new kid at school and are forced to find a new source of comfort and take a range of classes that may or may not actually fit their learning capabilities. In the article by the New York Times, an account of the common mistakes school systems have when entering a new student from another county or state is brought up as the once foster care child, Noelle Anaya, talks about how she missed out on lessons that should have been taught, but was instead skipped and she had to take classes that were either below her level or uncomfortably above it. Children usually age out of foster care when they turn 18 years old, the age of emancipation in most states. However, there is no set age that marks the end of foster care. Federal guidelines require states to assist children during their transition from foster care to independence, beginning as age as the state agencies find appropriate, and in some cases as early as age 13. When children age out of foster care, they become ineligible to receive state assistance with housing, food, and Medicare under their foster care system. This leaves many foster children homeless. The government recognized this problem and created the John H. Caffey Foster Care Independence Program under Title I of the Foster Care Independence Act of 1999 to provide funding for states that assist adolescents up to age 21 in foster care in order to create a smoother and more successful transition to adulthood. The Independent Living Program offers connections with permanent adults, manages and maintains health needs with Medicaid coverage, supports employment programs for economic needs, provides stable life skills, and improves access to safe and stable housings for the individual. We interviewed Jay Collins, a student at Heritage High School, who is currently going through the process of aging out of the foster care system. If you remember, what was the process of being put into the foster care system?
Whenever I was 12, I got put in. It was whenever I got in trouble and my family couldn't take care of me, so they put me into the foster care system.
And then, what was that process? So, yeah, can you just tell me more about, the process of being, put in, and finding a home, maybe, if you remember?
Finding a home, it takes a while to find a home, but whenever they did, I did get put in.
Okay. What are some memories, good or bad, you have while being in the foster care system?
I've met a lot of people, nice and bad. I have a lot of friends still from my old placements.
How many homes have you been moved into during the time you were in the foster care
11.
system? 11. What was the process of being placed out of the system?
You mean the placements, or?
Are you gonna be once you're 18? Don't you get?
Yeah,
placed out of it?
you can go out of it, or you can still stay in by doing the 18 to 21 program.
Okay, and do you want to talk more about that program if you know?
It's more of an independent living program, to where you can learn how to be independent, how to get get on your feet out in the real world.
Is it paid by like the government, or is it paid by the foster care parents that you're with? Is it paid by yourself?
Paid by Medicare.
Medicare? And then what are your plans for the future after high school and like being out of the system?
I'm planning on moving back in with my mom, and I'm gonna get my GED.
Nice. The foster care system, while controversial and often painted in a negative light, is important to talk about because the children in the system are often in desperate need for help. The system overflowing with children who deserve a source of permanence, like Sarah, the child consultant from Kids Peace, said during the interview, is in need of a working system that cares for them like any parent would and like all children deserve. The system is not something to ignore, but is something to fight for.